This police officer right here is about to take advantage of this 16-year-old girl. I think he did some weird, nasty stuff before he killed her.
Call the popo, huh?
Damn.
Rest in peace to the little girl if she did lose her life. Let's get into the whole story.
July 26th,
He looked like a
2022,
weird ass nigga too, don't he?
9:46 p.m. A surveillance camera at a community center in Georgia
He looked like
captured
a
a
straight
seemingly
goofy.
ordinary moment. A 16-year-old girl standing and talking to a man in a police uniform just a few hundred feet from her home. She had no idea she was being watched, and she had no idea that this grainy footage would become the last confirmed sighting of her alive. What happened in the next few minutes would shatter a family,
Why is he in his
expose a
personal
dangerous
car?
predator hiding behind a police badge,
Why is he in this Toyota Corolla?
and prove that sometimes
Oh yeah, he for sure did.
Call the popo, huh?
FBI, open
He
up.
for sure. Look how weird this nigga look, man. Do it look like he got any type of girl ever in life, bro?
the very people who swore to
Them be
protect
the
us
weirdos,
are
man.
the
The
ones
weirdo
we should
niggas.
fear the most. Because the person who abducted Susana that night wasn't a stranger lurking in the shadows. He was someone the community trusted, someone who patrolled their streets,
Fucked
someone
up, bro.
in uniform with a legally carried gun.
It's crazy,
This is the
man.
story of how a police officer became a killer and how a family's worst nightmare became a community's shocking reality.
Damn, boy.
Earlier that day, Susana Morales had done what any 16-year-old would do on a summer evening. She'd
Oh,
told her mother
summertime.
she was going to visit one friend, then changed plans and went to see another.
Everybody
Instead,
worst
perfectly
nightmare,
normal
bro. Every
teenage
parent worst
behavior
nightmare.
that would later take on tragic significance. The young girl with the bright smile and love for singing had spent the evening at Sterling Glen Apartments, a complex in Norcross, Georgia, just outside Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Susana was the baby of her family, adored by everyone who knew her. She spent hours practicing makeup tutorials in her room, had recently picked up the ukulele, and filled the house with her singing voice. Her mother would later describe how Susana's music made their home feel alive with joy. That Tuesday evening seemed no different from countless others. Around 10 p.m., Susana began her walk home, a short trek of maybe half a mile along roads she knew well. Her phone, equipped with the Life 360 tracking application, showed her location in real time to family members who wanted to keep her safe. But safety was about to become an illusion. At exactly 9:46 p.m., the community center camera captured Susana walking along the roadside, unaware that predatory eyes were watching her.
Oh,
every
somebody was
step.
watching her.
She appeared calm, unhurried, just a teenager.
I ain't gonna
heading
lie,
home
bro.
after-
My daughter gonna have a gun. You better not play shit, boy. I don't give a damn how illegal it is. My daughter gonna have a gun on her. Fuck you. A gun, pepper spray, a knife. Nigga, y'all
after
crazy,
spending
bro.
time with friends.
I ain't going.
Then,
man, listen,
something
I'll
went
lose my
terribly
shit, man.
wrong.
God forbid. Shit.
What happened next would puzzle investigators for months. Susana's phone showed her reaching her neighborhood, getting close to home where she should have felt safest.
Right.
Her family, monitoring her location, watched as the familiar blue dot approached their street. Then the dot began moving in the opposite direction. At first, the movement seemed normal walking speed. Perhaps she'd forgotten something or decided to take a different route. But then the impossible happened. According to the GPS data, Susana was suddenly traveling at 40 miles per hour. She didn't drive, she didn't have a car, and nobody in her family was expecting to
So
pick her up.
everybody like, what the fuck?
A text message appeared on her phone. "I'm on my way home," but Susana never arrived. Instead, her phone continued its high-speed journey away from safety, away from home, away from everything familiar.
Right.
At 10:30 p.m., one of her friends received a crash alert from the Life 360 application.
Oh no,
The phone
a
had
crash?
stopped moving. It would never move again. Susana's family began searching immediately,
What
driving
the
the streets,
fuck?
calling her name, hoping against hope that this was all some terrible misunderstanding. But
Right.
when dawn broke on July 27th, their daughter was gone.
Damn.
Meanwhile, just a few miles away at Sterling Glen Apartments, a 22-year-old police officer named Miles Bryant was going about his evening routine. Bryant worked as a courtesy officer at the complex, a position that gave him reduced rent in exchange for patrolling the property and keeping residents safe.
He looked
He
like
was
such
also
a
a sworn
goofy.
officer with the Doraville Police Department and served in the National Guard. To his neighbors, his colleagues, his superiors, Miles Bryant appeared to be exactly what law enforcement should
He
represent.
looked like a look at him,
Dedicated,
bro.
conscientious, always willing to help. But
Look
appearances
at him. Come on, bro.
can be
This
devastatingly
he looks like
deceiving.
a weirdo.
The next morning, July 27th, Bryant contacted police with a concerning report. His service weapon, a Glock 19 pistol, had been stolen from his vehicle. Someone had broken into his truck overnight, he claimed, taking his holster and gun while leaving everything else untouched. The timing was remarkable.
What kind of police officer leaves his gun in the car? That don't even fucking do that even sound right? What police officer you know leaves his gun in the car, goes upstairs and go to sleep? Hey, before I keep going, I gotta show y'all something real quick. Y'all know I love shining like new money for all the days I was broke, and GLD helps me do just that. Now, like, I actually wear this like all the time, and I'm one of them dudes that's picky with my jewelry. If it feels light, cheap, or weird on my neck, I'm not wearing it. But this, you can feel it immediately. The weight is right, the details are clean, and the clamps don't feel super flimsy. It's just all around solid. I mean, you throw this on and people start thinking you got your life figured out a lot more than you actually do. Compliments just start coming out of nowhere. Where you get your chain from, bro? GLD, boy! It's waterproof and sweatproof. Like, everything they make is guaranteed for life. So you ain't really got to stress about nothing falling apart like all that cheap ass jewelry that some people be selling. I ain't gonna say no names. Now what I really like about GLD is they got options. You want something simple? Cool. You want something that stands out? Cool. They got chains, they got earrings, pendants, watches, whatever you need, they got it. And it's not one of them brands where you gotta spend crazy prices to actually get something nice and high quality. I ain't the only one rocking with them either, man. Millions of people rock with GLD all across the world. They got thousands of 5-star reviews. And let's just say it's a reason why you keep seeing GLD everywhere. So if you've been thinking like, man, I need one good chain to just put my outfit together, you might be going date night, Valentine's Day coming up, I don't know. This is probably your sign to go get you some nice jewelry. So I'm gonna hook y'all up. Right now, new customers get 50% off if you use the code MACMULA. Half off, bro. 50% off your order if you use the code MACMULA. Half off, bro. Go to GLD.com, use the code MACMULA when you placing your order and save 50%. All right, let's get back to the video.
Than 12 hours after
bro.
Susana Morales vanished, the courtesy officer who lived at the very apartment complex she'd been visiting was reporting a stolen firearm. But this was just the beginning of Miles Bryant's elaborate deception. For Susana's family, the next 6 months were a living nightmare of uncertainty. Tips poured in from across the country, reported sightings in Detroit, Nashville, Gatlinburg. Each lead brought hope, then crushing disappointment when investigations turned up nothing. Police deployed drones, thermal imaging, and aerial surveillance. They conducted undercover operations, worried that Susana might have been taken into human trafficking networks.
Yeah, that's what you're
Every
gonna think.
resource
That's
was
what I would think.
exhausted. Every possibility explored. Her mother, Aura Morales, faced the worst kind of anguish, not knowing.
Not knowing, man.
Was her daughter dead? Was she suffering somewhere?
15.
Was she trying to come home?
Crazy,
The questions haunted every waking moment and invaded every dream.
Seeing like she's
It is
Spanish,
the
15 years old. They had a quinceañera.
worst
Something like
possible thing to not have closure, investigators would later observe. I think my daughter may be alive. I hope my daughter is alive, but I don't know. Emotionally debilitating is not the right 2 words to use. It's worse than that. Throughout those 6 months, Miles Bryant continued his duties as courtesy officer and police officer. He patrolled Sterling Glen Apartments, the very place where Susana had last been seen. He carried himself with the same professional demeanor that had earned him respect among colleagues. No one suspected that the person helping search for the missing girl might be the very person who knew exactly where she was. February 6th, 2023, 6 o'clock in the evening. An off-road enthusiast was exploring remote areas near Drowning Creek Road and Highway 316 in Decatur, Georgia, more than 20 miles from where Susana had disappeared. What he found changed everything. The victim's remains, tragically decomposed, found across the forest floor. No clothing, no fibers, no forensic evidence remained. Just the evidence of time passed in the Georgia wilderness. The medical examiner would later determine that approximately 95% of Susana's remains were recovered. but several parts were missing, and without soft tissue, determining cause of death
So that
proved
means
impossible.
they cut
the
her
lack
up?
of clothing indicated foul play. People don't
how's only
simply die without
95%?
clothing in remote woods without criminal involvement.
Right.
For investigators, the discovery was both heartbreaking and challenging.
No
They finally
clothes
had
on, so
answers
you know
for
it's some weird
Susana's
shit.
family, but they also had a homicide case with precious little physical evidence to work
Damn, bro,
with.
she was born in
That's when they made a
2006.
discovery
Fucked up.
that would crack the case wide open. About 100 feet from Susana's remains, investigators found something that should never have been there. A Glock 19 pistol, abandoned on the forest floor. It hadn't been buried or hidden. It looked like it had simply been dropped and forgotten. When they traced the serial number, the results were shocking. This was the same weapon Miles Bryant had reported stolen on July 27th, the day after Susana disappeared. The same gun that had supposedly been taken from his truck by unknown criminals was now sitting in the woods where a murdered teenager had been found.
That's bullshit. There's no way in the world that somebody broke into your crib, broke into your car, stole your gun, and then went and found a girl 5 minutes later and killed her. No, nigga. No. No, no, no.
Call the popo, ho.
Damn.
No.
Damn.
And you just so happened to report it the same day or a day after this little girl went missing. He reported the shit trying to cover his tracks because he probably got back to the house and realized, like, oh shit, I don't know where my gun at, but I know I had it when I was with that girl. Let me report it stolen, so if something do happen, I got some type of chance of getting away with it. You feel me? Like, that shit weird and calculated, gang. That shit weird
The
as
odds
hell.
of this being a coincidence
No,
were
ain't no
astronomical.
coincidence, nigga.
Investigators immediately focused on the courtesy officer, who had seemed so helpful, so concerned, so professional throughout the search for Susana. They were about
Looked
to
like a
discover
weirdo
that
too,
Miles
don't he?
Bryant had been playing an elaborate game
He
of
looked like, he looked like that weird ass nigga that ain't no girl ever like him, middle school, high school, none. He looked like that weird nigga that used to play with. Yeah, my name is Brian. Yeah. That nigga ain't never got no play. Kindergarten, ain't no girls want him in kindergarten all the way up to college. You hear me? So he became the police to try to make himself feel cool. You feel me? And then, goddammit, a whole time he just a weirdo.
deception from
Just
the
a
very
weirdo.
beginning.
That's all.
Detective Carter approached Bryant carefully. They needed him to talk, to explain the inexplicable connection between his weapon and the crime scene. But they also had to be strategic. Revealing too much too soon could cause him to stop cooperating entirely. Bryant agreed to come to the station for what he believed was a routine interview about his role as courtesy officer. He had no idea that investigators had already begun unraveling his carefully constructed lies.
Goofy.
"We're literally talking to everyone here," Detective Carter explained casually. "We're just trying to document everything. We got no leads, man. Hopefully, with your being in the know, with everything going on with the complex, we can maybe put some pieces together." Bryant played his part perfectly at first, suggesting various theories about who might have taken Susana. He pointed to gang members,
course he
transients,
did.
suspicious characters who frequented the apartment complex. He seemed eager to help, concerned about the missing
Oh my
girl,
God, this one's
frustrated
sad,
by the
bro.
lack of progress in the case. But investigators were watching for something else entirely, the subtle signs that would reveal when Bryant shifted from helpful witness to desperate suspect. While Bryant maintained his facade of innocence, Detective Carter was methodically analyzing
My
phone
God,
records
this one's
that would
sad, bro.
ultimately destroy every lie the officer had told.
Dumbass little
Bryant
boy.
carried 2 phones, his personal device, and a work phone issued by the Doraville Police Department. Both phones created digital footprints that could be tracked through cell tower data, painting a precise picture of his movements on the night Susana disappeared. What investigators found was devastating
So
to
you the
Bryant's
police, but you so fucking weird and so caught up in being a weirdo, you ain't even really sit back and think like, oh shit, I got my phone on me. You know they can find out. That's the thing about being a police. You know how easy it is for them to find out what happened. I could, your gun got stolen at night. You know I could track your car and see where your car was at and see what time you got home. And then try to line that up with what you told the police officers when your shit got stolen the first time. Like, you're a fucking clown,
claims
bro.
of innocence. Between 1 and 2 a.m. on July 27th, just hours after Susana vanished, Bryant's phones were actively making calls from cell towers located near Highway 316 in Decatur, the same stretch of woods where Susana's body would be discovered 6 months later. Bryant
was
had
he
told
calling?
investigators he spent that night driving around after arguing with his girlfriend, never mentioning any trip to remote woods 20 miles away. But the phone records didn't lie. His device was in the exact location where a murdered girl's remains would later be found. When confronted with this evidence, Bryant's carefully maintained composure began to crack. "Listen to me," Detective Carter said, his voice steady but firm. "Your device was the only one out there.
The only
She
one.
went missing. She died there.
You in the woods,
Your gun
bro.
is there. Your phone is there. This is your moment to talk about it." For the first time, Miles Bryant looked
Maybe you are a
genuinely
monster. He
rattled.
said, "Oh hell no."
The helpful
Prove me
courtesy
wrong, I don't
officer
believe you.
facade dropped away, revealing something much darker underneath. "This is terrible," he whispered. "Maybe we're a monster." "Oh, hell no. Prove it wrong." But the evidence was overwhelming. Bryant's own digital footprint had placed him at the crime scene. His weapon was found near the victim's remains. His story about the stolen gun fell apart under scrutiny. Most damning of all, investigators discovered that Bryant had lied about never having seen Susana before. Witness testimony revealed that he had actually approached Susana and her friends previously, offering them rides in his black truck encounters he had steadfastly denied during questioning. "If I killed somebody, I would know that," Bryant protested, but his protests rang hollow against the mounting evidence. The case was far from over, though. Phone records and circumstantial evidence could place Bryant at the scene, but proving murder without a definitive cause of death would require prosecutors to paint a complete picture of who Miles Bryant really was beneath his badge. As investigators dug deeper into Bryant's background, a disturbing pattern emerged. The helpful police officer had been living a double life for years, preying on vulnerable women while hiding behind his uniform in position of trust. Dating back to
So he been on
2018,
this.
Bryant
Is that
had
him?
begun burglarizing homes belonging to his high school classmates, specifically targeting young women. He would steal private items, personal belongings, anything that satisfied his twisted compulsions. Even after Susana's murder, his behavior escalated. Surveillance footage showed him attempting to break into a young woman's apartment.
Even after the murder, he still was on some weird shit, trying to break in a girl's apartment. You a boy?
While wearing his National Guard fatigues, trying to force open her door despite her obvious fear and resistance. During
clear
searches
fucking
of
weird.
his
He
digital
looked like a
devices,
weirdo too, bro. I'm
investigators
telling you.
found evidence that he had been using women's phones to send illicit content to himself, a violation of privacy that revealed his predatory mindset. The evidence painted a picture of someone who had been building toward violence for years, someone who used his authority and access to target victims, who trusted his badge. But would a jury believe that this decorated officer, this National Guard member with commendations...
I believe it, but you don't even have to tell me shit, bro. I'll believe it if you just showed me this picture. It's a few. This picture, what the other one at? This one, where the last one at? This one. You show me these pictures, bro. I'm like, yeah, he's a fuck. Yeah, I believe you. Like, what the fuck? He looked like, yeah, like one of them niggas that'd be like caught like whacking off in the middle of a like you know what I'm saying? Like he seemed like one like.
But would a jury believe that this decorated officer, this National Guard member with commendations and positive performance reviews, was capable of kidnapping and murder? June 5th, 2024. Almost 2 years after Susana Morales was taken from her family, Miles Bryant faced a jury of his peers in a Georgia courtroom.
Oh, so they did lock him up.
He was supposed to serve and protect, the prosecutor told jurors during opening arguments. He is one of the people that we should trust to enforce the law, somebody we should hold to a higher standard, but he didn't do any of those things. Instead, he abused the law, and he used his badge, and he used his position to satisfy his own predatory impulses. The prosecution's case was built on circumstantial evidence, but it was overwhelming in its totality. Phone records placed Bryant at the crime scene. His weapon was found near the victim's remains. Witness testimony proved he had lied about never encountering Susana before. Most powerfully, they presented evidence of his pattern of predatory behavior, the burglaries, the attempted break-ins, the escalating violence that had culminated in murder. He is a cop who turned into a killer, prosecutors argued. The defense faced an uphill battle. Their strategy focused on the lack of direct physical evidence.
No, he's a killer weirdo that went to be. He's not a cop that turned into shit. He's a killer weirdo. Oh, that's all the only word I can use. Pure weirdo. He's a weird ass goofy that signed up for the police department. Fuck you, Jamal. He ain't no damn police that turned into a killer.
No definitive cause of death. No eyewitness to the actual crime. You don't have to like my client, defense attorney admitted to jurors. And in fact, at the conclusion of this trial, you're going to think that he is the most callous, uncaring coward that you have ever seen. However, he is not guilty. They suggested alternative theories. Perhaps Susana had overdosed. Perhaps she had been killed by someone else who coincidentally dumped her body near Bryant's gun.
It's the same shit that they're going to try to pull with that David case. Because he had her body cut up, so it wasn't no clear, like, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm trying to figure out, they said he had 95%. They only found 95% of her remains. What the fuck does that mean? Does that mean she decayed away, or does that mean like her body was cut up? But if her body was fresh and like freshly passed away and stuff, and they could go and be like, oh, it's a bullet, so she got shot to death. You feel me?
But these theories lacked evidence and credibility. The defense also attempted to portray Susana as a troubled teenager who might have put herself in dangerous situations. But her friends and family testified that she was a normal 16-year-old who had been safely walking home from a routine visit with friends. After just 2 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with their verdict. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
Guilty, fucking
Count
weirdo.
2,
Take your ass
felony
up
murder. We, the jury.
But remember though, let y'all tell it. We not supposed to wish jail on nobody. Y'all dumbass.
The defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Kidnapping.
Guilty.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Miles Bryant was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The jury had seen through his lies and recognized him for what he truly was, a predator who had used his badge as a hunting license. For Susana's family, the verdict brought some measure of justice, but it could never bring back their beloved daughter and sister. I knew at that moment that we got him, Detective Carter reflected. We had done our job. No one's above the law, and he got what he deserved. But the case raised disturbing questions about how someone like Miles Bryant had been able to operate for so long without detection. How had his department missed the warning signs? How had the apartment complex failed to properly screen their courtesy officer? Susana's family has filed a civil lawsuit against Sterling Glen Apartments, arguing that they should have conducted more thorough background checks before giving Bryant access to vulnerable residents. Their battle for accountability continues, driven by their determination to prevent other families from experiencing their devastating loss. The murder of Susana Morales exposed uncomfortable truths about predators who hide behind positions of authority. Miles Bryant wasn't some shadowy stranger lurking in alleys. He was someone the community trusted, someone who wore a uniform and carried a badge, someone who had sworn an oath to protect and serve. His crimes remind us that evil can wear any face, carry any credentials, and hide behind any institution. The very qualities that should make someone trustworthy: authority, access, community respect, can become weapons.
I feel like if you look like a goofy weirdo like this, you shouldn't even, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why?
Trustworthy authority, access, community respect can become weapons in the hands of those who abuse them. For law enforcement agencies, Bryant's case serves as a stark reminder of the importance of thorough background checks, ongoing psychological evaluation, and vigilant supervision of officers. One bad actor doesn't just destroy lives, they undermine public trust in all the good officers who genuinely serve their communities with honor. Detective Carter, who led the investigation, reflected on the broader implications. Just like any profession, you could run into having a bad egg. As a law enforcement officer, your job is to protect others who cannot be protected. This is a very sad case, apparently, of an officer who was not doing it for the right reasons. The investigation also highlighted the crucial role of modern technology in solving crimes. Without cell phone tracking data, without surveillance cameras, without digital forensics, Miles Bryant might never have been caught. But technology alone wasn't enough. It took dedicated investigators who refused to accept easy answers and kept pushing for the truth. Number 14. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this tragic case is the courage shown by Susana's family throughout their ordeal.
Rest in peace to that little girl, man. Man, I would, the shit I would want to do to him, I can't even talk about, boy. Like, I would go to whatever county he locked up in. I would find it. I would go to that county. I would go to jail on purpose. go to prison or anything on purpose just to get that motherfucker. That's what I would be feeling. That's what I want to do, bro. Real shit.